Hey, what's up, guys? So I wanted to do a video about how I draw my drawings today. And I wanted to give you guys an inside look and explain a little bit of things because I feel that this might be useful to a few people. So let's get started. So pretty much I start with a rough outline, and I skip over filming that part because it's super boring to get proportions right. It takes me about an hour, and it takes a lot of time and dedication to get the proportions right. So I just skipped over that. I have a basic outline already done. And oddly enough, this was supposed to be a photo of Emma Watson, as you can see up there, but my proportions were horrible, and it turned out not looking like her. But I thought it looked as just being a picture of a random girl. I thought it turned out pretty well, so I went with it. Pretty much when I draw, I start usually with the eyes when I start actually doing the detailing because I feel the eyes are most important. And if you don't get the eyes, you don't have the photo. So I actually begin with the eyes, and excuse my fat hands for being in the way, but I need to get my camera angles a little bit better. So pretty much, yeah, I start with the eyes. I make sure that those are good. I achieve a lifelike ness to them before I move on, and I make sure that those are up to par with what I need it to be. A little bit of theory behind drawing portraits. A lot of it is tones and shapes as opposed to lines. You don't want to have lines in your drawings or else it'll look cartoony and fake. You want to have tones and shapes. Like with the nose, I'm doing a slight, it's almost like a sideways crosshatch, which is just a bunch of little lines very close together, very rapidly drawn. And it creates an illusion of a slanted nose shadow. And you kind of want to, you want to imagine the face where the light is hitting it, and you want to draw shadows according to that. So my light source was coming from the right hand side, so of course there'd be a drop shadow on the nose. The photo that I was going off of, the Emma Watson photo, it did have a pretty flat profile as far as like contrast wise in the lighting, so I just kind of gave it a little bit more contrast than I thought it should have. As far as for the face, like I said, it was pretty much generally flat contrast, so I just did a general shade with my pencil over it very, very, very lightly. And I was using just a normal H pencil for this entire piece. And then I took a blending stump. You're familiar with those, and I blended the whole thing and made it look consistent. And her cheek shadows, I don't know. Cheek shadows are one of the hardest things for me. I have no idea why, but I feel I did pretty well. Oh, also, I was eating Cheetos before I did this, and word of advice is do not eat Cheetos before you draw and then touch the paper like an idiot. Like I'm touching your cheek right now. Bad idea, because I smeared it a little bit. You can't see it, but my Cheeto-y, oily hands got all over it and almost ruined it. So don't eat Cheetos before drawing, at least, or use a see-through paper that you can cover the photo with and put your hand on that so you don't smudge it. All right, next up, this is by far for me in drawing is the hardest thing that I do is hair. Hair kicks my butt. It has always kicked my butt, but I think I've got it to the point where I actually kind of like it. Hair, like I stressed on the issue before, is mostly tones and shapes. And actually, that's all it is. It's all tone and shapes. So what I do is I start shading the hair, and I do the dark tones to the light tones, and then you kind of get like a flat shade of gray throughout the whole thing. You get different darknesses, of course. But what you do is you take your eraser and you draw out the highlights of the hair later on. And that saves a bunch of time. And like I said, you don't want to draw individual strands of hair because then it just looks like a 5-year-old drew it. So what I do is I usually do, like I said, tones, and then I use my blending stump and I smooth it out, and then I pull out highlights with my eraser. And that's the easiest way I've found to do hair. Tons of people have suggested that online. There's plenty of other talented artists who can give you tutorials on hair better than I can because I'm still not that great at it. And I was kind of crunched on time trying to beat the clock here because I was using a DSLR to film, and that is a horrible camera to film with in a lengthy video. The footage ended up being over an hour, and so I was crunching on the neck like I wasn't taking my time on it, but that's the finished product right there. So as you can see, this is the way I draw. It was kind of a thrown together project. I would really take my time on it if I was doing it for someone or if I was going to frame it or something. This is more just to show you guys how I do it and what my workflow is. As far as, yeah, I would probably spend up to upwards of 10 to 20 hours, depending on who I was doing it for or if I was going to keep it, stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have questions, just comment below or shoot me a private message. Peace out.